Hi, best friends. Welcome back. So, I've been thinking a lot lately. I mean, not that I ever don't think. We're all thinking. We're off to a great start. I've been thinking a lot lately about sex and sexuality. Specifically, I'm gay. Spoiler alert, if you didn't know, I'm a gay man. I do occasionally think about it, like, what does it mean to be gay in America, to be gay in this culture? What does gay culture mean? Lots of different kind of converging thoughts. I find that when I'm struggling with something inside myself, an idea or a thought, I tend to, how do I explain this? Have an internal conversation. Because when you have problems in your life, maybe you would go to someone else and talk to them about it, or maybe you would try to work through it just by pushing through. But I like to go inside and just go, what do I think about this? What are my thoughts? What are my feelings? And try to, get some insight from within myself, especially if it's something I kind of, how do I say this, don't agree with myself on. So when it comes to my sexuality of being a gay man, I think I've always struggled with feeling like I'm a part of the gay community, as in like gay culture, pride, gay clubs, gay music, gay media. I've always felt very distant from it, and I never knew if that was my intention, like I was intentionally pulling back from it, or if it was just natural, like it doesn't appeal to me, or it doesn't pertain to me, or it doesn't apply to me. I've compartmentalized it. Not like I don't accept it, I like men. I've moved it so far off of my personality and who I am as a person that when I see other people embracing, gay pride and going to gay clubs and consuming gay media, I feel a little alienated, a little put off. And I want to know why that is. So I want to really meditate and really think on what does it mean to be gay, what does it mean to be a part of gay culture, and is gay culture even a good thing? So I want you to come on this journey with me. I'm going to really meditate. I'm going to go within myself. I like to personally picture it as a conference call, because if you're anything like me, within you, there are multiple people, multiple different points of view. Now it is time to start that conference call in my mind between those different versions of myself, and to find out, finally, what do I think of gay culture? Do I like it? Do I hate it? Is it good? Is it bad? There's only one way to find out. We're clearing our minds. We're going within ourselves, deep within ourselves. We're imagining the separate parts coming to life.
You are a shadow following me where I go. I'd be better without you. What are you doing to me? I'm suffocated, don't know how to explain it, but I feel like I'm faded. What are you doing to me? You've been putting me through hell. I should really run for help, or leave you for someone else. Too bad you can't leave yourself. Loosen your grip before I choke. Can't catch my breath, I'm gonna choke. I wish that you just let me go. I don't want this, I promise, just leave me alone. Loosen your grip before I beg you for mercy, cause my vision is blurry. I'm afraid you could hurt me. What are you doing to me? Try to escape it, I don't know if I'll make it, cause my body is breaking. What are you doing to me? You've been putting me through hell. I should really run for help, or leave you for someone else. Too bad you can't leave yourself. Loosen your grip before I choke. Can't catch my breath, I'm gonna choke. I wish that you just let me go. I don't want this, I promise, just leave me alone. You've always been this way, locking me in chains. I don't think you're ever gonna change. Please just let me go. I won't have a soul. I just need a little air before my blood runs cold. Loosen your grip before I choke.
Are we all on the video call? Yes, girl. I'm here. I'm queer. That's enough of that. Jake, are you on?
Yeah, I'm on.
Alright, good. Well, now that we're all on, do you guys know why I called?
It's obvious you want to have an internal conversation about the nature of gay culture and what it means for you to live as a gay man.
Wow, that's insane. Like, how did you know that?
Because we're all him, dummy.
Oh, that's actually a good place to start. Can you guys explain who you are? Me first. I'm Jay. I'm the part of you that's as gay could be. I love to be loud and proud and drooling over the nearest man I can get my little hands on. I love being gay and the fact that it means a culture of sexual openness and exploration.
Well, I'm the opposite of all that, whatever that was. I'm the conservative part of you. I value tradition, I understand that being gay is a part of me, but I also think making it everything about me would be vulgar and disgusting.
That just leaves me. I'm the middle part of these two extremes. I don't like or dislike being gay. I honestly almost never think about it. I do spend time wondering why that is, though. So, where do we start? Maybe some sort of opening statements? Jake, do you want to go first? Tell us a bit about your outlook on our shared sexuality.
Sure, I could do that. Well, first up, I just have to state, again, I'm the opposite of Jay in every way.
So you say.
I'm not some flaming degenerate that needs to constantly shove themselves down everyone's throats. I don't want to wear glitter and rainbows and strut around like a peacock making everyone look at me. I don't need a constantly updating lexicon of irritating terms to express myself. I won't capitulate to the whims of some overly sensitive queens, too blind to see the harm that they do to our image in society.
Hey, not to tell you your deal, babe, but you barely told us anything about you. It seems like you're more concerned telling us what you aren't rather than telling us what you are. Kinda has a point.
Fine. I like tradition. I like fitting in with society. I don't have a desire to be the most special darling in the room. I like the idea that I can blend into a room and not have everyone staring at me. I want to have a husband and family someday, and that's not going to be made easier by giving into the current gay culture of banging any man within a 2-mile radius.
Okay, I think I've got your point of view. Jay, what about you? I love being gay. Honestly, I have no shame for it. Frankly, I think we have much more fun. Straight culture is about as exciting as watching cum dry. I don't see anything wrong with having multiple partners, as long as you're playing safe, if you get what I mean.
We do.
Good. Being gay isn't always about playing safe, though. Part of the excitement is living on the wild side. Hooking up with a total stranger can really get the blood pumping. Plus, the benefits of gay culture don't end with sex, you know. We get the best music, we can dance, make fashion and art. We are a cultural phenomenon. What straight people don't seem to realize is without us to set the trends, they would be wearing cargo shorts and ponchos. They would sit around doing old comedy bits poorly and boring each other to tears. Off the bat, I can tell you are a lot more fun, Jay, but something about you is super annoying. It makes me want to kick you out of the call. And if you say it's because you're too fabulous, so help me. Is it because I'm too fabulous? Moving on. Now that you've heard Jay out on what he thinks makes being gay so wonderful, what do you think, Jake?
I think he's a moron.
Well, here she goes.
This flamboyant and whorish behavior that you say sets trends does something else. It sets expectations. If gay men just go around fulfilling the preconceived notions straight people have of us, we look like cartoon characters. Look at yourself. You are acting like you jumped out of some tacky cartoon. Giving into every impulse, sexual or otherwise, does nobody favors. Look at things like Grindr.
You would blame Grindr and hookup apps for homophobia? Bold statement considering the amount of straight hookup apps.
No, I don't think it's bold. If you want to pretend that straight hookup apps have the same over-sexual tone and atmosphere as Grindr, go ahead. We both know that if men talk to women on Tinder the way they talk on Grindr to each other, she would tweet it out with the caption, "What a gross loser." It's just accepted in gay world because we've decided that sexual openness means removing all importance of intimacy and relationships. You may love living loud and proud, but being as obnoxious as possible will alienate the minds we are working to change.
I won't be shamed for being an open and adventurous person. Just because you're uptight doesn't mean I have to pick up your weird internalized baggage.
That's just it. I'm not uptight. I like acting like a normal dude. I like being a member of society and not acting like some fringe weirdo. You can't have it both ways. You can't opine that we are just like everyone else, we deserve to be heard because we are just like you, etc., etc., then march down the street in body glitter and a jockstrap with floppy dildo wings. That's perverse, and it reflects as such. So which is it? Are we just like the rest of society, which is most people, let me remind you, or are we some sort of evolution of sexual acceptance and openness?
Wow, those are some solid points. I can agree that gay pride events, depending on area and scope, can basically paint themselves as one big outdoor sex shop. It's hard not to see that as a bad look, at least in terms of changing hearts and minds of people that would already characterize us as sex fiends and perverts. Okay, well, Jake, you've really brought up two separate issues here. One, gay culture is too sexually loose and overly focused on purely sexual encounters. And two, that very culture has made pride events places to essentially be as horny as possible. So, we'll tackle number one first, shall we? What is your issue with gay men being hypersexual beings? And to be clear, babe, I don't necessarily agree with that assertion.
I have no problem with gay men having sex. I love sex as much as the next guy. My issue is that the stereotype that gay men are slutty is, well, kinda true. We don't even have to just pull examples of gay men we've known ourselves. We can look at our media alone. We inject dicks, cocks, balls, and cum and do as much of our media as society will possibly tolerate. It's also pathetic to me. Do we really need to be so tacky and vulgar at all times? It's not like if we made media that wasn't filled with oiled up men and sex puns, we would forget to be gay. All it does is give gay men a quick fix of sexual gratification while once again pushing people away who already think this shit. If you make a poppers joke to a gay 19-year-old, he'll probably know what you're talking about. If you talked about beefy older daddies to a newly out teen, he will snap his fingers and rattle off catchphrases. Is this the image we want? The image we want to keep? Forever? When does it become a little sad to be drugged up sluts that exist to be talking head cartoon people?
Why shouldn't we act that way? I'm serious. Like, why? You need to check your data. Straight men and women are just as sexual as gay men. They have as many kinks, desires, and sexual proclivities as us. You can point to our media out of context and play up the fact that it's hypersexual all you want. At the end of the day, I just see it as us saying the quiet part out loud. Gay people are out here being unashamed by our sexual desires, and it may burn some people up, but it's certainly not as scandalous as you clearly want us to think. If I had to venture a guess as to why we are so sex-focused, I would have to say it's because of our history. Straight people have been, for the most part, free to love whoever they want. You don't have to hide a sexual desire or impulse because it's implied that at some point you will have that desire fulfilled if you're straight. I've been in rooms with straight men and I hear the way they talk about women. You want us to equate image to character, and I'm not going to play that game with you. You can point to a suburban man that wears a suit and tie to work every day and has traditional values, and I can point you to his porn collection he has hidden on his computer. The new generation may have it easier, but we are still a minority. I think the reason we jump at the chance to be sexual is because it is far more rare for us to be given that opportunity. Seeing men jump around in tight underwear in gay media may be the only chance some of us have at having something that sparks our sexual desire. It's like when parents forbid their kid from drinking. Maybe it works, and maybe they get alcohol poisoning at age 21 because they haven't been able to practice restraint. Now, if regular guys want to not see gay men as weird slut goblins or whatever, maybe they should just stop focusing and policing gay behavior. The more you try to cram the lid back on the boiling pot, the more pressure builds up underneath it. We are finally entering a time where the lid is harder and harder to put back on. I suspect and hope that one day the novelty of being gay will be as uninteresting as anything else.
Okay, sure. We are all just as perverted deep down. If that's what you want me to admit, I can do that. If you want to say that our repression as a group has caused us to become more over the top in our presentation to the outside world, sure, I get all that. That does not change the fact that people see us that way. Just because we can understand why we have the culture we do as gay people doesn't make it good or helpful. I think if we did more to assert that our sexuality is valid, but not pervasive, we could get a lot more done.
Why should we be expected to conform now? What a ridiculous request. Maybe if society had allowed us in the open sooner, we wouldn't feel the need to assert our wants and desires. It's only now that the general public have become more accepting to us that we have been allowed to live freely and openly. They would then ask us to rein it in? I don't think so. We are members of this society and we provide for it as any other citizen does. If we want to make and watch media where oiled up men make sexual comments to each other, we should. Straight people can clutch their pearl necklaces all they want. Because mama, the only pearl necklace I want is made out of cum. Okay, you both made your points. Jake, you had mentioned having issues with gay pride parades or events or something. Care to get into that a bit?
Sure. I would say this is probably the biggest optics issue facing the gay community since the AIDS crisis.
That's stupid, but continue.
Look, having events celebrating gay people and our contributions to society is one thing. Gay pride is not that. These events are, for the most part, excuses to shove our sex lives down people's throats. They are so infused with our bedroom activities, it's disgusting. Maybe we're all freaks deep down, but most normal people don't march that information down the street in a thong and body glitter. It's not even a question of being flamboyant at this point. It's the fact that it takes our political opponents mere minutes to find footage of the trash we present during these events and parades. I remember a few years back seeing footage of a boy, he looked about 12, in denim hot pants, twerking and shaking his ass for a ring of adult men formed around him at some sort of pride event. How are we supposed to fight slippery slope arguments when this is freely out there? Men in leather harnesses with puppy masks and matching underwear, marching alongside floats as people look on, kids included. What is that? What is the point of that? If the parades and events are about visibility and celebration, we must have very little to celebrate if all we can think to do is to present our sex lives to the masses.
Look, as much as I could drag you over the coals, I'm gonna take you seriously. I get what you want. You wish we would tone it down to fit in more with heterosexual norms. I don't see that happening anytime soon, and girl, you are painting with such a broad brush, you didn't think I would notice? Just because I'm hot doesn't mean I'm not intelligent. Sure, you could find footage and photos of pride goers being slutty and extra. Sure, there are some fringe gay festivities that heavily involve sex. I may be inclined to even say I agree with you that maybe we could benefit from toning things down a little. All that being said, I think you are cherry-picking examples. I've been to pride events. I've known people that have gone to pride events. I would not say those people are all sex maniacs and exhibitionists. Most pride events just function as fairs with booths and stalls promoting places and services or selling little trinkets. Now, if you want to be extra and find the guy dressed as a leather dog man, go ahead. Maybe you would find several. Well, those people are not the majority. Sure, it's more than a little gross that they just decided that we're all giving consent to view their fetish. Not that I have a problem with that fetish in particular, mind you. If you want to judge those people as tacky and tasteless, sure, by all means. To take those people, though, those ones in glitter and the thongs and the dog masks, and make them seem to be our envoys to the public at large, I think that's dishonest. Speaking to children at these events. Look, gay guys can be stupid. I think when kids are acting up, doing drag, dancing in a very gay way, that gay men find it charming. Not sexual in most cases, but charming. It's like when a kid puts on your work uniform and pretends they're gonna go to work for your job. Do I think it's cute to walk your leather pup sub next to a child? No. Do I think people doing that are all pedophiles? No. First of all, we don't control who comes to Pride, let alone if they bring their children. Second of all, I think the worst in most cases, it's just gay men being stupid. Sure, I'm sure there are creeps at Pride. Creeps are everywhere. I think men cheering on a little boy drag queen and flamboyant behavior is just them being happy to see a young person adopting gay iconography and behavior. Yeah, it looks a little bad. They are dumb not to realize how their clueless glee in seeing kids at Pride behaving inappropriately, how that looks to the outside world. I think a large part of it too is just the idea that we aren't going anywhere, and that makes them feel vindicated. You know, I'm willing to bet Jake has little to say about spring break celebrations where straight women and men expose themselves and act out sexually. Wet t-shirt contest, anyone? All of this said, I do find this line of attack to be a bit deceitful. Aside from the cherry picking, I find that in most cases, it's masking something else. When people tell me that Pride is just gross sex spectacle being shoved in their face, it's hard to believe that they would suddenly be on board if we just toned it down. I could be wrong. There's a first time for everything. At the end of the day, it all just seems like you're bitter for feeling that you have some imaginary obligation to forego doing or enjoying anything too gay, like attending Pride or going to a drag show. That was shockingly focused for you, Jay. Jake, do you think you're bitter, like Jay claimed?
Not at all. I find it incredibly funny that to justify being so trashy, you have to make me seem like I'm just jealous. It's juvenile and transparent. I don't want to do gay things because I find them gross and over the top. You've even admitted that a lot of our culture is excessive. Why should I be punished for not going to Pride events or gay clubs or drag shows?
No one is saying you have to do those things. Do whatever you want to, sweetie. It's just hard not to arrive at that conclusion. You go on and on about how you hate our media and events and spaces, and it just seems like a bit of an obsession. You seem like a person that wishes they could join in, but feels like you can't. You want to troll Grindr for dick, but have mind tricked yourself into thinking you're above that. Otherwise, why do you care so much?
Because it all matters. You can pretend all you want that I'm a buzzkill and jealous and whatever else. The fact remains that what we present of our group reflects on us. Even if I pretend you have a point, that I wish I could enjoy these stories about drag queens reading books to kids or whatever. I can't. I understand the optics of it, and I want to paint us in a better light.
Not to nitpick, but you hate the idea of children being read to... why exactly?
See, you're not getting it. It's not the reading, it's who's doing the reading. Why are drag queens reading to kids? Drag is an adult nightlife entertainment spectacle. Regardless of my feelings on drag queens, I understand that it looks borderline pedophilic.
Girl, you're gay. You know how dumb that point is. By not supporting these practices, you legitimize the criticisms about them. Maybe some drag queens have been pedophiles, but most aren't. I can take this point even further. If your only real issue with it is that it looks sexual to the outside world, well then correct the outside world. I'm not saying scold people. You can even use the stereotypes you're so obviously fond of. Drag queens, by and large, hate children, or at least having to entertain them. The ones that do story times are the activist types, and you know that. Sure, they may not understand how it looks, but they legitimately think they are helping our image. Hell, most drag queens are attracted to beefcake lumberjack daddies or muscle gym rats. Why not bring that up? I don't think I've heard the stereotype about the drag queen that spent 4 hours getting ready to go out to the nearest preschool and troll for a date. Unless one of the dads is dropping their kids off, I think the kids are safe from the big bad drag queen. This is what you do. You get so bogged down in image crafting that reality doesn't matter to you.
Reality matters. The reality where we have to rely on straight people to attain and keep our rights. It's important that we don't give them more ammunition with which to take that stuff away.
All I have to say to that, sweetie, is I won't negotiate my rights with people who want me to butch it up so that they feel better about me. I think we can just agree that both of you made some good points. The way I see it, our public-facing image is important. We need to be aware of perceptions of us and shouldn't pretend we don't have any idea where straight people got these stereotypes from. In that same breath, however, we shouldn't let bad examples ruin the celebration of a culture that has been repressed for so long. I think having events and spaces where gay men can be over the top and enjoy not having to skulk about in the shadows is important. Jake, I'm still very interested in the idea that you don't find anything about being gay fun or interesting. Or at least you don't seem to. Why do you think that is?
I mean, I guess for the most part, I just loathe the idea of being gay as a personality trait. I'm just a normal dude. I'm traditional, conservative. I don't need my sexuality to make me interesting the way most gay men do.
Your sexuality has an influence on who you become and who you currently are. It is part of the fabric of you. I think you mistake being flamboyant with making gay a personality.
You haven't met those guys that need the whole room to know they're gay, that make every interaction with a man flirtatious or sexual?
I have met them. That's annoying. That's just called meeting a rude, tacky person. Yes, maybe being gay is their crutch, but lots of straight people have personality crutches. This is nothing unique to us. This is just another way straight men can pretend that our very existence, especially if it's flamboyant, is somehow being shoved down their throat.
Even if your sexuality is important to your formation, that doesn't mean you have to make it front and center, or make sure everyone knows that you're gay.
You do when you need society to see that we are out here and we need rights and protections.
Well, sorry I'm not gay enough for your tastes, but I won't change so that you don't have to worry about standing out so much. If you're so upset that you were picked on or called out by straight people, then maybe you should try to act more normal.
You think you're not transparent, don't you? Girl, it is plain as day what you really want by behaving this way. Well, it's not clear to me. What is it that he wants? He wants to be the least freaky of the freaks. He wants the distance from the horrible curse of being gay. He may say he has no problem with being gay, and maybe he really doesn't. On some level, though, he is clearly annoyed to not be able to fit the mold of a traditional conservative male. He is playing a character. Jake, you think that if you don't act flamboyant or pass as straight, you'll be considered one of the good ones. I'm going to clear something up for you. You're gay. You like men, honey. You can't play act your way out of it. You see the bullies, and you think if I can blend in with them and point fingers at the real freaks, they will accept you, even if it works for you. Isn't that a little pathetic? Wouldn't you agree?
It's pretty presumptuous to think that my personality is completely artificial. Just because I'm not snorting poppers and screwing every man in sight doesn't mean my personality is some act I'm doing. You have to at least consider the possibility that maybe, just maybe, I am truly disgusted by gay culture and don't want to be lumped into it.
Sure, maybe it's all authentic. I can say with confidence, though, I don't believe it is. I would be a bit more understanding if your I'm not like other gays personality didn't have a large component where you spend time talking about how annoying it is to have to interact with other gay people. There is too much glee in your observation about the average gay man. You clearly love that you're one of the good ones. You can play dumb so that I seem like I'm projecting, but something about your stance is not genuine, even if I can't pinpoint exactly what it is.
Okay, whatever.
Obviously, you two have very different views on gay people in the public eye. What about in private? As a gay man, how do you feel about dating and relationships? Jay, let's start with you. Wait, are you sucking on a sucker? Yes, bitch.
Where did you even get that?
My ass! I don't know what I expected. Anyways, my thoughts on dating and relationships. Well, I want to find a big, strong caveman that drags me into his cave to have his way with me. I want to be his everything and want him to protect me forever and always.
And you accuse me of being fake?
Yes, I do, because I know for a fact that I don't have a desire for something that I'm not going to let myself have. I want a lumberjack to chop me in half, and I don't shy away from that.
It's not shying away to not want to date a costume. You want some character to fulfill some generic fantasy. I believe in traditional relationships. I want to be in love with someone real.
Let me guess, you want a submissive traditional boy to be your conservative wifey.
If that's how you want to put it, sure.
Well, that's as much a costume as anything else. You want a boy that seems like a girl but doesn't act too gay. Do you understand how this all just translates to an obvious self-loathing? You just wish you were straight. I bet you wouldn't date someone that you could tell was gay.
And you would? I don't think so. Gay men seem to universally want manly men. Look at our obsession with sleeping with straight men. Maybe gay men's penchant for random anonymous sex makes flamboyant gay men less attractive as a group. Men that act like men seem more honest and traditional.
Masculine men being the most desired is an issue in the gay community. I won't deny you that. However, I think it's people like you that cause that. Wanting to pass as normal, whatever that means, creates the market for you. Manly men are so desirable because society has told us that they are the ones we should desire. Also, you are bringing in sex life out of nowhere. Being flamboyant doesn't automatically make someone slutty. It gets hard to see the line when it keeps being moved, girl. If someone says they want a masculine man, that's fine. If they are only saying that, though, because they have baggage attached to being obviously gay, don't you think we as a culture could work on that? Maybe if you don't go around agreeing with basic frat boy opinions on gay guys, we wouldn't be so hemmed in. Establishing gay traits as the bad ones sends a message, even if you aren't aware of it.
So I have to like someone I don't, or I'm being homophobic?
No, you being homophobic makes you homophobic.
I just want a regular guy. I don't think that's ridiculous or some symptom of my own internal struggle.
Why isn't a flamboyant or feminine man regular? If it's such a widespread and pernicious problem in the gay community, wouldn't that make it normal? You can't have your cake and eat it too. If you think most gay men are sex-craving freaks and degenerates, but you're not, you're the outlier, babe. Alright, settle down, ladies. I think we've brought a lot to the table as far as points to be made. What do we do with them? I suppose the most obvious idea for me is to ask each of you, what did you learn? Have either of you said something that has resonated with the other? Jake, we'll start with you.
I think Jay has a point, as poorly made as it was.
Whatever, bitch.
I may have some hang-ups about being gay. I may have a desire to live a more normal life than my sexuality allows. I firmly stand by that I think gay culture is a bit of a trash fire, though. I think we would be better served by blending better with people and casually living our lives. I want to be gay and have it be as boring as having brown eyes. All that being said, I could stand to focus less on others. If I spend my time policing other people's expression, I might only end up doing more harm to the overall perception of gay men. Not being involved in gay culture is not an active action. I don't have to distance myself from gay stuff to be distant from it.
Alright. What about you, Jay? You learn anything? I suppose I would say that we could stand to learn something from Jake. If we want to get people that are deeply unhip and bland to vote in our interests, we have to play along to a certain extent. If not advertising what a bottom pig slut I am in public will help Agatha from rural Kansas stand up for us, maybe I can do that. Our media could stand to show off the non-sexual and less horny parts of our culture. I can be a total flamboyant slut, but there's a time and a place for everything. Well, I think both of you took steps towards mutual understanding. It's not a solution to the overall issue, if a solution is even needed, but it's a start. I think identity and culture can be difficult for anyone to understand, even within themselves. We can always have these little debates in our own minds, and there's no shame in that. We might fall on different sides of the fence at different times. People are expected to change and grow as they get older, and There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. And with that, I think this meeting's pretty much adjourned. Have a good evening, everyone.
Later, losers.
See you, sluts. And we're coming back. We're coming back now. Out of Jacob's brain. What a trip, am I right, ladies? I'm not sure if this process even taught me anything about what I think or what I feel. You know, in the process of going through and doing this and making this, I had to confront some things about why I struggle to think about my sexuality as anything other than just this extra thing off to the side. And I think it brought up like a traumatic, and I won't get into it, but a traumatic memory from when I ran away when I was 18 from home for like a year. And I don't ever talk about it. No one knows exactly, you know, what I did or where I went. And it's not a mystique thing. I don't care. There is a lot of stuff that happened that is not pleasant. And I think this specifically brought up a lot of that, which is also probably a reason that I held off on doing it as long as I did, because it just, I don't know. A few nights ago, before I had started working on this again, I kind of just lied in bed for a few hours and thought about a specific memory that I kind of got lost in, similar to the process of this video of going into your own mind and kind of talking to yourself. I got lost and I couldn't escape the memory. It got dark. But I think that this, in a way, helped a lot to think about it. And I didn't set out to do that when I started making this video, but it just happened, which is a good thing, a difficult thing, but a good thing. So thank you for coming along with me on this journey, and I think I raised some good questions, some good points for myself, and maybe for you to think about going forward. I may not be sure what we learned, but we learned something.